My mom has been going into the basement every night for 7 years. I now know the horrifying truth. I 19 female, and my mum 46 female have always been really close ever since I was born. We would always do everything together. We were inseparable up until I was 12 years old. My mom, me, and my dad were all in the car going abnormally faster than usual. The beautiful blue sky and perfectly shaped clothes on this day were kinda weird, but I shrugged it off as I was 12 years old. We were going to the mall for a bit of a shopping trip and we're laughing and telling jokes. One joke in particular my dad told made us all laugh out loud instead of just chuckling to ourselves when suddenly we got hit head first by another car, and unfortunately my dad did not make it out alive. As for me and my mom, we made it out with just a little scratch, nothing major. That's when things started getting weird. A couple months later my mom started acting very weird. And I mean weird as in her health started to decline rapidly as she got thinner and more bones were showing from her soft fatal skin. She started skipping meals more regularly to the point where she did not eat at all. She started going down into the basement at about 2 years after my dad's death, and that's when it started badly. I would notice she would spend up to 3 weeks at a time down there. Sometimes even for the bad smells didn't start until a couple months later. The smell was putrid, so bad I couldn't even go near the basement without gagging and sometimes throwing up right then and there. Anytime I would try to go down into the basement the door would be locked from the inside and my mum never said a word to me. Anytime I would try to start a conversation she would just stare at me. And it creeped me out. It seemed like she had no soul when she looking into my eyes and I looked into hers. You could not imagine how I felt when one day she walked out of the basement. I was sitting at the kitchen table, eating a sandwich when she then walked out with blood all over her hands and shirt, with some of the blood even being on her pants. I looked at her with a horrifying look as she walked upstairs into the bathroom, leaving the basement door accidentally open. That's when I decided to go see what the smell was. I got up and walked over to the basement door, and as I walked down the stairs the smell grew bigger, but when I walked down there I almost threw up. There I saw her laptop and an operating table with an open body on the table. I could see all the organs and intestines, with some even being on the floor. As I looked to the side I saw a pile of dead bodies piling up in the corner. At that moment I ran up and called the police. And when they got there and looked in the basement I followed them down there and everything was normal. But what made my skin crawl is that the house I was standing and grew up in had been abandoned for 20 years. Nobody has lived in the house since. It was all in my head.